The topic for today is textual coherence and lexical precision. So you might be wondering, teacher, and the other topics of the class, they are already in YouTube. So you can see the previous topics in YouTube. When you have time or you got to study for the exams or something, you can access to those. Wait.
Your spotlights on literature E. So let's begin.
The best YouTuber I can afford.
So first and foremost, let's define what coherence is. Coherence. Well, when we talk about coherence, we deal with how clear and logical our ideas are. How can a reader understand our sentences and how they are related to each other, and also related with the main topic or idea. A paragraph must have coherence and cohesion to flow smoothly and, most importantly, make sense. If you find a paragraph hard to understand, it's because it's not coherent or cohesive. So after all of this, we have this short definition that embraces everything that I said. Is the relationship that unites the ideas in a text so that it means something to the readers.
Basically, coherence, what I said that coherence is an abstract concept. So you can say exactly what coherence is, but you know that is the relationship between the words and the idea so they make sense. They mean something to you. When something is incoherent or incohesive, you find it hard to understand because the ideas are to make stuff. So coherence is basically the order of the ideas, the harmony between the ideas so the message can be understood easily. So for example, when you read a book, there are some books that you find them very easy to read, but it's because of the harmony between the ideas. And the harmony can be found or can be reached because of coherence and cohesion. But we're gonna focus today in coherence, not in cohesion. That's another difficult topic to discuss.
We can surely say that a paragraph is coherent when they contain clear and logical ideas. Those ideas may be related to the main topic, and also there may be a connection between them. The flow or the transition of the ideas must be understandable.
Okay. Flow is, for example, the water flows. You see that movement. When the ideas flow, it's because they're clear, they're easy to understand, they're logical. Because when you have unlogical thinking or unlogical ideas, it doesn't flow so well. So the ideas go kind of, you stop for a moment trying to interpret what you have read. And understandable is easy to get, right?
We're gonna watch a short clip with some examples of coherent paragraphs.
I didn't remember that I hired another teacher for this lesson. There is a North American guy that is going to explain a little bit about cohesion and coherence as well. I like the way these men talk.
Let's start.
When cats are hungry, they rub on your leg and demand immediate attention. However, when they are satisfied, they find a quiet place and sleep. Number 2. When cats are hungry, they rub on your leg and demand immediate attention. They find a quiet place and sleep when they are satisfied. So which passage is easier to read, the first one or the second? The first passage is more cohesive because the ideas in the first sentence flow smoothly to the second sentence. Cats are first satisfied and then they find a quiet place to sleep. In the second passage, the last sentence comes to us almost as new information. Let's look now at another set of passages and ask the same question. Which one is more cohesive? Thousands of people visit Yosemite National Park each year. They come to experience the natural beauties of the magnificent rock cliffs and to enjoy the great outdoors. The rock cliffs pose a great danger from rock slides. Passage number 2. Thousands of people visit Yosemite National Park each year. They come to experience the natural beauties of the magnificent rock cliffs and to enjoy the great outdoors. However, what they do not realize is that as beautiful as they are, these rock cliffs also pose a great danger from rock slides.
Which one do you think is easy to understand? The second. And the clue is this. However, the transitional device, when we move from one idea to another, you need a connection. So you can just jump into one idea that is different from the previous and pretend to be understood. No, you can do this. You have to look for words that connect two different ideas. Here, there is a contrast. It's talking about beauty, but on the other hand, it's talking about danger. So it's beautiful, but it's dangerous as well. And in order to change from one thing to another, you need a transitional device. The transitional device is nothing but this word here. And we will see if we were right. Let's see what the old man gotta say.
So which passage is easier to read, the first one or the second one? The second passage tends to flow smoother because the last sentence doesn't redirect our attention to the rock cliffs like the first one does.
So after those concepts and examples, we may conclude that coherence provides clarity, balance, harmony, flow, logic, and progression to a text. It makes ideas logically, connect them each other to form a whole. To achieve this purpose, we use transitional devices.
You have examples in your books of transitional devices. We have some of the shows, contrast, sequence, summary, comparison, addition. So we'll see some more. We'll see some more in this clip. And that video will be recorded just in case that you want to check out.
Transitional devices are used for different purposes. Right now, I will present you some categories and some devices you can use to achieve these goals. First, you have listing and for giving examples. For listing, you can use devices like first, second, third, furthermore, finally, to begin, to conclude, next. For giving examples, for example, for instance, as follows, that it is, in case, in other words, namely, and there are more. Then you have generalizing, reinforcement. In general, generally, on the whole, as a rule, for the most part, in most cases, usually. For reinforcement, also, furthermore, moreover, what is more, in addition, therefore, particularly, besides, above all, as well as, in the same way, not only, but also. And as you can notice, some of the devices can be repeated in different categories, but the meaning will depend on the context of your statements. For showing results or consequences and highlighting, you can use the following devices. So, therefore, as consequence, as result, accordingly, consequently, because of this, thus, hence, for that reason, so that, in that case, under these circumstances. In particular, in particularly, especially, and mainly. For similarity and reformulation, you can use likewise, equally, similarly, correspondingly, in the same way. In other words, rather, to put it simply. Then to express or expressing an alternative and transition to a new point. You can use alternatively, rather. On the other hand, the alternative is, another possibility would be, and for transition to a new point. Now, as far as is concerned, with regard, with reference to, as for, it follows that, and turning to. Then for deduction and contrast, we have then, in other words, otherwise. This implies that, if so, or if not. In contrast, we have instead, conversely, on the contrary, in contrast, in comparison. Stating the obvious and summary. We have obviously, clearly, naturally, of course, as can be expected, surely, after all. Summary in conclusion, to conclude, in brief, to summarize, overall, and therefore. Finally, we have concession for something unexpected. You said, however, even though, however much, still yet. So we're gonna leave the uses here, but remember that we have more. Everything depends and varies according to your needs. Now we're gonna see some of the transitional devices in use. The first one says, polls show that Tony Blair is the most popular prime minister this century. However, there are even members of his own party who are uneasy with his approach. So right now you will identify what is the transitional device, and I think that is very clear. That is the word however, is connecting the two ideas. And what is its function? Indicates that what follows is something of a contradiction. On one side, they think that he's the best of the century, but on the other hand, people think that, or at least some people from his own party, feel uneasy towards his views. Second example, there are some slight variations in temperature, but as a rule, 26 to 27 degrees Celsius should be expected. So let's identify the transitional device is as a rule. And what is the function? As a rule shows that you are about to make a generalization. Then the third one, I failed the class and thus I will have to take it next semester. So the transitional device here is thus, and that indicates a result. I fail. As a result, I will prepare myself better because I will repeat, or I will take the class again next semester. Then, number 4, it was announced that nurses' working hours would be increased by 25%. As a result, even fewer trainee nurses are expected to join the profession. The transitional device here is as a result, and it indicates that the second sentence is a result or consequence of the first one. So that must be followed by a verb. And the last one is sales of CDs have experienced a small but steady fall over the past 12 months. In contrast, vinyl records have seen an increase in their share of the market, up to 1.7%. The transitional device here is in contrast because we have two opposite situations here. CDs sales are falling, they are decreasing, whereas the vinyl records are increasing. And this is what it says here. The second sentence contrasts vinyls with CDs. So that's why we use in contrast, we could have used another one to express two opposite ideas.
So we have some exercises, 73, I said, right? There it is 72. Yeah, we have 10 minutes. We have another kind of exercise here. We have also the transitional devices that we use for addition, comparison, contrast, emphasize, summary, and sequence. And the exercise says like this. Write a paragraph. Well, you're not supposed to write a paragraph. If you want to write it down, but you just have to number the order of the events and eliminate the ones that don't contribute to a paragraph coherence. Write a paragraph about Mark Twain by organizing these sentences in chronological order. That's one thing. The other one is eliminate the facts that don't contribute to your timeline. I'm going to give you a hint. All of the sentences or all of the information about Mark Twain that they don't have date or a specific moment in his life must be deleted because you don't know where to put them, right? Because they're not too specific. Or if they don't have for example, this one, he was a close friend of Nikola Tesla. That is too general, so we don't know when exactly. It doesn't help to your chronological order. So that's one that you have to delete. Work it out, please. Okay, let's check the answers. What do you have in number 1? What is the first thing? 1835. Letter G. Number 2. What do you have? Number 2 is letter A. Yeah. Number 3? B. Yes. 4? B. 5? K. 6? F. F. 7? We don't have number 7. Well, we gotta stop at 6. J. Halley's comet passed the day before Twain died. Before Twain died. When happened that? Before he died can be since the day he was born to one day before he died. It doesn't contribute to your chronological order. Where are you gonna put it? Before he died. But before he died may happen years before he was even born. No. The day before. The day before. Stupid me. So this one is then before he died. It doesn't say anything about his death, right? Yeah. Twain died on heart attack. So there's 6 and 7, right? 6 and F is 7. You were right. Yeah. Stupid me, sorry. And Huckleberry Finn? No. His grave is marked by 12-foot monument. Well, according to the text, no. And the second, no, there's no time for the second exercise. So thank you, Mateo, Anthony, and all the ones, Levi, all of the ones